What about the lobbyism in the Senate? Is it big?
It's huge.
So I believe people don't realize how big it is.
There's probably, I mean, when I talk to legislators from other states, their jaw drops when I tell them we have, I don't know, last count, if I had to guess, I would say probably 1,500 registered lobbyists. It might be a little less now. I don't know.
1,500?
Yeah.
In California?
Yeah.
Who do they represent? 1,500?
Oh, everybody. Everybody has a lobbyist in California.
Give me an example.
From gas station owners to nail salon owners to...
Nail salon owners?
Mm-hmm, to...
What do they lobby for? Cheaper gel?
Well, it depends. You know, if there's a bill that would affect their income, if it's a bill that would affect how they can do business, you know, then that's their job to lobby for or against whatever that bill is. But I mean, you know, every Native American tribe has lobbyists. Some of them have several. Utility companies, phone companies, gardeners. I mean, construction workers. You name it. Everybody has a lobbyist.
What do they do? What's your experience?
So their job is to, again, you know, if there is a bill, let's say you own a landscaping company. So if there was a bill that said, okay, and it passed, says you can no longer use gasoline-powered lawn equipment, right? You have to have electric equipment. So a lobbyist would go in and tell legislators all the reasons why that's going to hurt, you know, the business of landscapers, how it's going to cost them money, how it's, you know, going to damage their business. That's their job, is to fight against those bills. Or if there's a bill that would help them, then they go and advocate for it on behalf of their clients. But lobbyists, especially the bigger firms, I mean, some of them have 4 pages of clients. 4 pages of clients. Yeah, some of these firms are huge. So you could have them one day, you know, arguing against a bill that helps Walmart. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, they could be in a committee representing a different client, arguing for that type of bill again. Like it's whoever's paying you to go in there and talk, you're going to say what they want you to say. That's how lobbying works.
But
it's not how they personally feel. You have to remember that. It's not...
It's business.
Right. The lobbyist could think it's a stupid idea. It doesn't matter. If your client says, I need this bill to pass, your job is to go in there and make it happen.
And they don't talk with their mouth. They talk with the money.
Mm-hmm. And some of them have a lot more money than others. Some of them, you know, the people they represent give a lot of money to candidates, and that tends to persuade people and motivate people a little.
How? For instance, they buy a car, they buy a vacation?
No, nothing like that. But you know, if they're, for instance, campaign season, so in the assembly, you know, re-election is every 2 years. Mm-hmm. In the Senate, it's every 4 years here. So it's like when you're in the assembly, you feel like you're constantly running for re-election. So you can, as a lobbyist, you know, whoever you represent can say, okay, well, I want to give Melissa a max out check, which is now, it seems like it goes up every couple years, but we'll just say it's, you know, $4,800. Mm-hmm. So they'll give you $4,800. Now that's a big deal to a candidate. A max out check is a big deal in a candidate. So if you have lobbyists who are representing firms who are constantly, every time you say, I'm running for election, can you...
For my campaign, just
right.
For the ads, for instance, right?
Then, and they continue to give you max out checks every time you ask, well, now they're probably, you know, they're going to expect a little more of your attention when they come to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you have to vote their way, but it also means for many of them, okay, well, if you don't, then, oh, look, you have an opponent this time. Maybe we'll fund your opponent. Now, if you're solid with your district, if you've been communicating with your constituents and they know where you stand and they know who you are and they hear from you regularly and they see you regularly, then they're not going to believe whatever negative ads, you know, somebody puts out about you. But if you're the type of legislator who is never seen and never heard from until it comes re-election time, where now you're sending out mail saying, please vote for me, well, now you have a different story because people don't know who you are and they don't know where you stand.
So the maximum amount of money is $4,800.
I think it's actually a little more than that now. I was just, for sake
But
of...
that's not a lot. $5,000, that's not a lot.
But that's just one person, right? You're not, we're talking about, remember, I said there's over 1,000 lobbyists all representing all these different firms. So they all have all these clients. So that lobbyist could have, 10 clients who write you a max out check.
Oh, so you can get 4,800 from a client, not from a lobby.
Right. It's not coming from the lobbyist. It's coming from the clients that they represent.
So, for instance, let's take an example. You want to get reelected, and you get $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Then, and you have to get, for instance, ads, pictures, videos,
mm-hmm.
edits, etc. So you hire me. We're friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you pay me as much as you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Then we share the money. Mm-hmm. No accountability. I just write an invoice and pay the taxes.
Well, that's illegal, but I suppose some people might do that. I know we've seen situations where...
Well, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to edit you the video, but
right.
$10,000 per video, not $1,000 per video.
Well, and as a candidate, I'm free to hire and pay whatever I think is reasonable. Mm-hmm. They would be foolish to do something like that, but I'm not saying that maybe it doesn't happen. But there's people who've been busted for things like that.
Any examples?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of the names, but there's, the FBI's been in the building and taken people down. We just had, when I was in the legislature, the Calderones went to prison because of bribery and, extortion, or maybe not extortion, but they did a lot of bad things in the legislature. Leland G., who was a senator, that guy was taking donations in exchange for his vote on things. And the funny part about it is, not funny, haha, it's just sort of ironic, is he was promising to deliver these illegal firearms he didn't know he was dealing with the FBI, obviously. But he was promising, in exchange for money, he was going to make sure that they got this delivery of firearms that, was illegal, all these things. But this is the same guy who introduced many, many gun control bills and I know, because I was on the public safety committee, so he would come to my committees and I would, just couldn't believe what I was hearing. So he's advocating for gun control bills, and after he's done doing that, at night he's saying, hey, I can give you this, pallet of AKs or whatever it is he was trying to sell. So he went to federal prison.
Good for him.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they're more clever, but eventually they get caught.